Commercial documents are generally issued by the importer, exporter, or some relevant non-governmental business organization. They aim to ensure smooth transactions, and they usually include pro forma invoice, commercial invoice, quality certificate, and weight certificate. Now, let's first take a look at the pro forma invoice and commercial invoice. A pro forma invoice is an administrative document which is mostly used as a commercial offer. In other words, as a detailed document about the sales conditions which contains precise information for the buyer. If the pro forma invoice is signed by both parties, it established a commitment and acquires the nature of a sale contract. Apart from its use as a commercial offer in international transactions, the pro forma invoice is also used for obtaining import licenses, authorization for payments in currencies, custom procedures prior to operations, prepayment, opening documentary credit, and for the sending of commercial samples. Now, look, this is an example of a pro forma invoice. And then, what is commercial invoice? Commercial invoice is an administrative document which contains all the information about the international trade. The item, quantity, price for the products or services, delivery and payment conditions, as well as the taxes and other expenses that might be included in the sale are all detailed in the commercial invoice. So, we can say a commercial invoice is a bill for the goods from a seller to a buyer. It is the key accounting document describing the commercial transaction between the seller and the buyer, and it is often used by the government to determine the true value of goods for the assessment of customs duties. Commercial invoice is one of the most important documents in international trade. In general, there is no standard form for a commercial invoice, although they tend to contain many of the following features. Let's look at number 1. The names and addresses of seller and the buyer. The name and addresses of the buyer or the seller must be the same as they are stated in the credit. It must appear to have been issued by the beneficiary of the credit. It must be made out in the name of the applicant of the credit, except in the following cases. That is, in a transferable letter of credit, the invoice can be issued by the second beneficiary and can be addressed to a third party. Now, number 2, date of insurance. The date of insurance can be earlier than the insurance date of the credit, but cannot be later than the expiry date of the credit and the latest day of presentation. Number 3, invoice number. It is numbered by the seller who issues the invoices. Number 4, contract and LC number. LC number may not be shown if there is no requirement by the credit. Number 5, unit price and total amount. State clearly the unit price and total amount. the unit price and total price must comply with the specification of the credit. The currency unit, amount, and trade terms should be included in the unit price. For example, we can say $35 per dozen, FOB Guangzhou. Number 6. Description of goods. The description of the goods in a commercial invoice must correspond precisely with that appearing in the credit. For example, if the goods are prescribed as Sony electric fan in the credit, such description shall be shown exactly the same in the invoice. Number 7. Shipping details. Sometimes shipping details should be included in the invoice, such as transportation information, shipping mark, and packing. Number 8. Other special requirement. Some special information may be required in the letter of credit. For example, the credit stipulates that the commercial invoice should bear the following clause, such as, "This invoice is authentic." Therefore, the sentence, "This invoice is authentic," must be shown in the invoice as required. If a signature of invoice is required by the credit, the invoice should be signed. Look, the following is an example of a commercial invoice. Now that you are clear about the pro forma invoice and commercial invoice, let's move on with quality certificate and weight certificate. A quality certificate confirms that the quality or specification of a particular consignment of goods is in accordance with the sales contract at the time of shipment. It may be issued by the exporter or a relevant government department as required under letter of credit or sales contract items. It is essential that cargo description in the quality certificate conforms to its items found in other relevant documents, such as the commercial invoice, letter of credit, insurance policy. Now, let me show you a sample of quality certificate. What else is regarded as important as the quality of goods? Yes, it is the weight of goods. Usually, weight certificate is also requested by the importer to confirm that the weight of the goods is in accordance with the sales contract at the time of shipment. Similar to a quality certificate, it may be issued by the exporter or a relevant government department as required under letter of credit or sales contract terms.